Marina City Towers. Folks, these are two identical 66-story structures. They're actually the most photographed buildings in all of Chicago. And I like to think of these buildings as kind of like flowers, because you have a central concrete core. Each apartment is shaped kind of like a pie or like a petal. They then hang off that central concrete core, giving it the corn and the cob design kind of that you're seeing today. My favorite Bertrand Goldberg quote, he said, "There are no right angles in nature, so my buildings will not have right angles either," which is why all of his buildings have these kind of obscure, kind of different types of designs. Those are completed in 1968, again, Bertrand Goldberg. Now folks, here in the Chicago River is unfortunately where the greatest maritime disaster on the Great Lakes took place. In fact, the greatest disaster in all of Chicago history, the Eastland disaster of 1915, just took place here on the left over in the Chicago River. What happened was a boat getting ready to embark on a tour of Lake Michigan was carrying 2,000 people. As they got on board, the boat was unbalanced and it capsized here in the Chicago River, killing 845 people. How did this happen? Well, one, children at the time were on board, couldn't swim, but two, women were wearing corsets and extremely long and heavy dresses, getting trapped underneath. 20 whole families were lost in the Eastland disaster, again, making it the greatest disaster in all of Chicago history. Here on the right, folks, you are going to see the Reed Murdoch Center. The Reed Murdoch Center is one of the last remaining warehouses on the main branch of the Chicago River, completed in 1918. Now this building, you would have seen these types of buildings lined throughout the Chicago River. This really was our industrial hub up until the late 20s, early 30s. Folks, as you look at the building, you're going to notice that one side's actually shorter than the other. Well, when this building was built, it was symmetrical, but they took a portion of that building out when they widened the LaSalle Street Bridge, which we're going to go under in just a second, making one side actually shorter than the other. We'll see another one of George Nimitz warehouses in just a little bit. On the right, 300 North LaSalle by Picard and Chilton. This building is what we call Platinum LEED certified. It stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. Basically, architects get this award for extreme energy sustainability. So how they got this award is they built their building with no air conditioning cooling towers. How they cool down their building is they take water from the Chicago River, they bring it into the building, they use the water to cool down the building, but while the water's in there, they're going to filter it, clean it, return it back into the Chicago River, cleaner than what they originally found it. That's Picard and Chilton. They finished that in 2009. Guys, on the right, in my opinion, is the most impressive building here in Chicago. Completed in 1931, this building sits at 4.25 million square feet. This is Merchandise Mart. Merchandise Mart sits in an entire city block. It has a footprint of more than 4 acres. Has more than 500 showrooms, more than 8 miles of corridor. Up until 15 years ago, the building had its own zip code. Now, this building was built to consolidate the warehouses of Marshall Field, huge industry leader. He builds this, and as we know, the Depression takes place not too long after it's completed, so he has to sell it.